How's it going, everybody? This is Brian for Pop Culture Crossing, and today we are talking about the Goonies. This 1985 adventure film has a lot of heart, great performances, and impressive technicality. Some may write this movie off as being too much of a children's movie, but I just don't think that's the case. The film's serious undertones mesh well with the adventure and distinct characters, thus creating an overall experience that is very entertaining. The story centers on two brothers, Mikey and Brand, and Mikey's group of friends. The characters live in a nice seaside community, but Mikey and Brand's parents are being faced with foreclosure. As a result, their idyllic lifestyle may be coming to an end sooner rather than later. Fortunately, Mikey makes a discovery that inspires him and the group known as the Goonies to go on a treasure hunt in order to find the loot and save the house from the foreclosure. The situation, however, is compounded when there is a jailbreak and the criminals are hiding out in the vicinity. The pacing, honestly, in the first act was pretty rough. Some characters, namely Mouth and Chunk, were pretty incorrigible during this time. Viewers like myself will probably be thinking, wow, this really is definitely a kid's movie, and I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing. But I really do encourage you, if this is your first viewing, to watch the film in its entirety, as the second and third acts are great improvements, and Chunk and Mouth both come around and become more likable characters as the story develops. When Mikey makes his discovery, the intrigue and push he makes for the group to go out and try to find the pirate treasure is relatable, as is his strong-willed character and personality and his desire to get to the bottom of a pirate legend and find out what is really going on there. Luckily, this is a big help, and it really propels the pace and deploys the story hooks of mystery and adventure. The interactions, both positive and negative, amongst the characters is very realistic. I say negative because that's mostly in light of the first act that I just mentioned. From the kids is ganging up on Mikey, to them going into the attic when they're not supposed to members in the Goonies group vying for a leadership and domineering position. All of these are really examples taken from real life. And though the Goonie takes these elements to the extreme with the dearth of parental presence and supervision, the core concepts are very reminiscent of elementary and middle school life, friends, and group dynamics. Tonally, the Goonies is best described as being a tale of innocence meeting adventure. This is not to say that it is wholly fantastical or whimsical. Fortunately, there are more serious undertones, namely the looming foreclosure and the real danger posed by the criminals known as the Fratellis. And these facets really broaden the movie's appeal and will make it palatable for audiences of all ages. The performances from the principals to the supporting cast are well done, especially considering the amount of younger actors. Sean Astin's Mikey, Josh Brolin's Brand, Jeff Cohen's Chunk, and Corey Feldman's Mouth are the lead characters. Their performances are great, and it's nice that they, as well as the other members in the Goonies group, are distinct character personalities, and this really prevents the movie and the characters from becoming bland and repetitious, and it really makes it refreshing and interesting as a whole. Mikey's devotion to the treasure hunt itself is remarkable, and his historical reverence is commendable. Some critiques people have cited against films such as the Indiana Jones movies or the Uncharted video game series is that the main characters, who are supposed to be archaeologists or historians, go into an exotic area only to leave it completely destroyed. Now, sometimes events happen that make this inevitable, but often the characters just treat the areas with complete disregard for the historicity and fragility of the items or ruins there. Thankfully, this criticism cannot be levied against the Goonies, which really allows for the film to establish its own unique identity. Cary Green's Andy, Martha Plimpton's Steph, and Jonathan Kwan's Data are also great characters that help round out the Goonies' roster. And once the adventure begins, it's a lot of fun to watch them all interact with one another. John Matuzak, Robert Davi, Joe Pantoliano, and Anne Ramsey also provide strong performances as their roles in the Fratellis and the Criminals. They are actually good antagonists, and it's nice to see that they pose a realistic, viable threat and danger to the Goonies. The fact that they aren't portrayed as just benign criminals is really remarkable and commendable, and it really heightens the stakes for Mikey, Brand, and their friends. One key critique I have is that there are some scenes in the film where the characters are simply way too loud. In some instances, it's really does not fit the scenes, particularly when the adversaries are near and the kids are just yelling. Yes, this could show that they are kids and they are kind of naive in that regard, and they may not know, oh, we should probably be quiet and whisper, but really this should have been fixed while shooting, or at least in post-production, as it just stands out as kind of a strange element in the film. It is also a bit odd that Mikey and Brand's mom does not learn that the boys had ran off once Brand started chasing them. And the sequence here is relatively ambiguous, and it does tie into the mom being preoccupied and not paying attention to the kids. But it is strange regardless, and is worth mentioning despite being a relatively minor critique. The cinematography is strong. The amalgam of compositions and perspectives keep the movie feeling fresh as it develops. There is a sequence with pipes and characters appearing from them, and this just could have been blandly shot, but it's surprisingly varied and pretty impressive as a result. Other compositions throughout the movie really capture the lure of adventure and the emotions the characters experience throughout their quest. And it is also worth mentioning that the main musical theme really has a nice orchestral flair that is really also successful at conveying the spirit of exploration. The Goonies' production design is very well realized. Given the story, the set pieces fit perfectly into place and will be entertaining for audiences. It's also appreciated that the Goonies do have times where they struggle throughout their adventure, and if they were to just easily overcome every obstacle that they encountered, then it would really fall flat. And it's also really nice, and I've sort of touched on this earlier, that they come across things that really illustrate how dangerous their adventure really is. And this is evidence of excellent performances and writing. Richard Donner's direction of the Goonies is excellent. The film expertly, creatively, and unexpectedly blends the story, intrigue, characters, and acting, and technical elements into a cohesive final product that really ranks up with the great adventure and treasure hunt films. So that's my review of the Goonies. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below and on our social media channels. As always, there's a full detailed written review at popculturecrossing.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our social media on Twitter, VidMe, YouTube, Instagram, and we're also available in audio format on iTunes and Google Play Music. Why don't you let me know what your favorite adventure, treasure hunt, exploration film is, and we'll keep the conversation alive. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.